Welcome into OutKick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis, and I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. Probably didn't expect it, but I think I am going to blow your mind with an actual analysis of why the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce engagement should be considered a good thing, and why I think it is culturally significant. Also, we're going to talk about SEC win totals. That is the Southeastern Conference, not the Securities and Exchange Commission. Why Trump trying to drive down crime is so brilliant. Melania Trump potentially on the cover of Vanity Fair. All of those topics and more. But we begin with the news that has taken the world by storm. Can we post the photo as I discuss it? A romance for the ages. Travis Kelce, NFL future Hall of Fame tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, is now engaged to the biggest music star on the planet, Taylor Swift. And I am going to tell you why this matters, even though many of you are going to say, I don't care. In fact, that's just what everybody was screaming on Clay and Buck when I was explaining why this mattered to such a degree. So let's start here. I wish them well. I want everybody who gets engaged to have a good marriage, to stay married, and to have many kids. I think that's the only thing you can say. Let me also start with this. I was wrong. I thought that Travis Kelce was too much of a moron for Taylor Swift, who I actually believe Taylor Swift's pretty smart. And she's business savvy. And she has written her own songs, and she is the most successful music artist of my life. And I'm not even sure who the close second is. And so I think she's incredibly talented. I think her politics are completely wrong, and I'll get to that in a moment. But as people age, people change their minds. She is 35 years old. She will be 36 in December. If she wants to have babies, and I think she wants to have babies, then she needs to get having babies fast, purely from a biological perspective. Okay? Now, so I wish them well. I don't understand anybody who's like angry about this news. I think we should encourage everybody to get married and get engaged and have kids. That's the foundation of the nation, the foundation of the world. Here's why I think it matters. And this may be a clip that ends up going viral with an audience that doesn't usually watch me. The entire story of Taylor Swift's career is about her searching for the right man to marry. Her entire career. This is all she has sung about for her entire career. Since she was 15 years old or whatever it was and became a star. By the way, I'll tell you a funny story before I get into this. Taylor Swift grew up to a large extent in the Nashville area, and so I know a lot of people. I grew up in Goodlettsville. She went to high school in Hendersonville, which is just up the road outside of Nashville, north of town. Hendersonville is a way nicer area than where I grew up, Goodlettsville, but some of you, I mean, these are basically neighboring communities. So I know a lot of people who knew Taylor Swift when she was a teenager. Their kids went to school with her. And in fact, when she started to become a star, like she would have all of her girls. Let me tell you two Taylor Swift stories. So I will tell you two, and I don't know that the second one has ever gone public, and it actually made me really like Taylor Swift as a person, right? And I do not know her personally. I do not have any relationship with her at all. One, when she played her first few songs, a friend of our family had daughters in school with Taylor, and he went to go watch her play. And I just think this is always great for predictions. He went and watched her play at like 15 years old, and on his way back, got in the car with his wife, and he said to his wife, and I'm paraphrasing him, but he's told this story. It's great. He said, boy, she is a really sweet girl, but man, she has no future in music. One of the all-time worst calls, right? But he was there watching her play at the open mic nights when she was 15, playing the guitar and everything else. Watches her, gets in the car, and says she has no future in music, but she's such a sweet girl. And I just thought that was, again, his daughters were in school with Taylor, and I just thought that was such a funny story because it just shows whatever we try to predict, even when you might see the single most successful musical artist of our generation, probably, of 2 generations, probably, maybe of 3 generations because of the money that she's going to make selling out stadiums, everything else. I just thought that was really funny, and he tells that story. Second, I believe this was this past fall, one of her girlfriend group, she's 35 now. I don't know how many of you still hang out with your good friends from when you were 15 and 16. I don't. They live all over the country. We have different lives. Maybe some of you do. But they reached out to her. She was playing a concert in Atlanta, and they said, hey, we just thought you'd want to know this girl that you went to school with at Hendersonville High School passed away unexpectedly at a very young age. No other discussion about it, just on text thread. She got on her plane on the day that she was going to be performing, flew into Nashville, showed up unannounced at the funeral for this friend that she hadn't seen in a very long time but had been very close to in high school. I don't know that it ever went public. I don't know that anybody ever wrote about it, knew that she had come into town for it at all. And then she stayed there visiting with all the old high school people until they had to legitimately rush her out because she was going to go have to take stage to go do her stadium concert. And she may have been a couple of minutes late because of that. I don't think it's ever gone public. Again, I am not claiming to know her at all, but I do think that she's trying to be a good person. And if I don't have daughters, I've got 3 boys, obviously, so we're not in the Taylor Swift community. We're not Swifties, as it were, or anything else. I do am impressed by her business and by her songwriting ability and all those things. But what has she been looking for her whole life? A guy. So that she can get married and have kids. That has been her entire life ambition. And she's dated a lot of guys, and it hasn't worked out. And then what does she find? Kind of a lovable oaf. I think it's fair to say that. Travis Kelce. I didn't think this relationship would work because I didn't think he was smart enough for her. But evidently I'm wrong. And what she wanted was just a normal guy. I think Travis Kelce, look, I think he's a moron for doing the Pfizer double shot ads or whatever. But I just don't think he's that intelligent. When I saw that he couldn't correctly use the word "your," I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Candidly, I know a lot of women out there maybe watching this. They're like, "You do not understand, Clay, how many men just can't even send like a basic text message that actually is using language communicative, actually makes sense. Like they can't even communicate, or whatever." So I didn't think this would work because she is very communicative, right? Her entire business is based on communicating with the largest possible music audience out there. And ultimately, she finds this oafish football player. And now I hope they're going to get married and have lots of kids because she's going to be 36 years old in December. And while Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and she's decided to get political, I actually think this is a great example of someone who talks left but lives right. And once you see this, you cannot escape it. All of the people out there that work at MSNBC and CNN and the New York Times and the Washington Post and CBS and NBC and ABC, they all wag their finger and lecture you about why you need to believe in left-wing politics. But go look at how they actually live their lives. They almost always get married to a man or a woman. They almost always raise kids in a nuclear family. They almost always put their kids into the best school, public or private, that they can possibly afford. They almost always move immediately to the best neighborhood in whatever city or state they live in, and often have a gate that surrounds them and or security that protects them. They often employ security that is armed to make sure that they are safe at all times. They all embrace actual conservative values in their own life while lecturing the rest of us about how much we should be willing to accept left-wing values in our own life. I'm a very big person on pay attention to what people do, not what people say. What Taylor Swift does is seek a nuclear family and a marriage and having kids inside of a nuclear family. She actually aspires to what most people in America aspire to. And I think as she now moves into the next phase in her career and becomes a mom, I think there's going to be a lot of young girls out there that look to Taylor Swift even more as a role model. And let me say this. We've been talking about athletes as role models and popular influencers as role models, pop culture figures, movies, singers, everybody else. How many times have there been better role models for young girls than Taylor Swift? Now, you can argue Charles Barkley style, I'm not a role model, you shouldn't be looking at me. I agree with that in general. The role models in our lives should be our dads, our moms, our grandmas, our grandpas. But a lot of kids don't have that aspirational figure, sadly, in their life. And for many young girls, Taylor Swift is an aspirational figure for them. How many people in pop culture are better role models than Taylor Swift? I can't think of very many. Think about what her scandals are. It's typically people being jerks to her. Kanye West coming on the stage and saying, I'm sorry, Beyonce should have won this award. Relationships that have failed. She may or may not be responsible for those. I'm not getting into them. But her outfits, sexy, not scandalous, I think it's fair to say. Her behavior in public, she's never been arrested to my knowledge. She's never been in a sex tape. She's never in some way engaged in behavior that you would see and think, oh my goodness, my daughter or my granddaughter, if they ever did that, that would be shameful. Most of her fans are aspirational in nature, looking to her. I think this is going to be important. If politics is downstream of culture, Taylor Swift getting married to Travis Kelce and having babies, given Taylor Swift's fan base, is, I think, going to be a net positive benefit to the country. Now, does she have different politics than me? Yeah. I voted for Trump. She voted for Kamala. We both live in the state of Tennessee. I think that she made a poor choice. Most Tennesseans, like me, voted for Donald Trump. But a lot of single women end up getting married, and as they raise kids, they get more conservative. I'm not sure that that will happen with her. Maybe it will not. I have no idea what Travis Kelce's politics are. I would bet you that it is almost impossible for Travis Kelce to even explain a coherent political philosophy. And I'm not insulting him for that. I think most football players have no ability to explain a coherent political philosophy. My general rule on football players is most of them want to pay less taxes, and almost all of them believe in the meritocracy. I guarantee you Travis Kelce doesn't think dudes pretending to be chicks should be able to play in sports. Just guarantee you. I don't think there's anybody who plays in the NFL that believes that. And so I think his politics are probably a muddle. I don't think he spends much time on it. I think he and Trump would probably get along pretty well. Probably way better than he and Kamala would get along culturally. But I have no idea. I don't think he particularly has politics. But I will say, when you raise kids, the things that most families care about are what? Safety, good schools, healthy environment for your kids to raise and become adults, right? You want financial security, you want personal security, you want educational opportunity. Every parent in America, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, those are conservative values by and large. Most people, when they have children, become more conservative, not more liberal. And so I would suspect that Taylor Swift, as she starts to have kids, may have different perspectives because, again, the things that she is after in life are ultimately conservative in nature. Her entire career has been about finding a husband and being able to have kids. So I wish him well. I thought Travis Kelce was pretty funny and Happy Gilmore too. I've never listened to his podcast. I know nothing about it at all. I will give him credit about him calling his shot and saying that he tried to give Taylor Swift his phone number. 2 years ago, a lot of people thought this was for show. I was one of them. I did not think this engagement would happen. I didn't think a marriage would happen. So congrats to the couple. I hope they stay. By the way, President Trump has basically weighed in and said the same thing as me. Let's go, by the way, as one does. College football is starting on Thursday, really. I know we already played a few games. And I saw this, and I think I've been teasing it for like 4 days now. College football, I think, is one of the most wide-open seasons we have seen in a very, very long time. And it's not just me looking at all these teams and saying, okay, Penn State, is Drew Aller the guy? Is he going to be the quarterback that takes you to the promised land? Is Carson Beck going to translate at Miami? Can we rely on Clemson to kind of put things together? I think you can look at every team and say, okay, I see 8-4, but I also see 11-1. I think I don't mean every team. I think there are 20 teams you can say that about. And some of those teams are going to get to 10-2, which is, I think, the number you're going to have to get to in order to make the college football playoff. And let's pull up the graphic. I don't remember this ever being the case. The SEC is so wide open right now that no over-under is above 9.5. Georgia and Alabama have been 10.5s for the past decade. Alabama sometimes has been 11, where you're like, hey, this team, I mean, right now you have got a wide-open SEC where Texas, if Arch pans out, hey, they're going to be really good. Texas A&M, if I can run through the whole team. If Marcel Reed can throw the ball well, that defense is going to be elite. Can DJ Lagway stay healthy at Florida? What in the world is Tennessee going to get out of the quarterback position? Do they even know, in the absence of Nico, who's going to be starting all season? I've got no idea. It would not shock me if multiple quarterbacks end up playing there. Is Georgia going to go through Joe Tereshinski 2.0? Some of y'all don't even remember Joe Tereshinski. What are they going to be like without Carson Beck, who's been there for a little while? And then obviously you had Stetson Bennett, who was there for what felt like 8 years. I can run through every team right now at the top of the board. What's Ty Simpson going to be like at Alabama? And LSU, is Garrett Nussmeier going to stay healthy? Do they have the offensive line to protect him? Can that Brian Kelly defense actually come together in big games? And can they perform in week 1 against a decent opponent and not lose for a 6th straight year? I can run through every SEC team right now, and I can make an argument for why they're 8-4 caliber or why I think they can be 10-2 or better. Ole Miss, Jackson Dart is gone. Lane Kiffin has never been able to get over that proverbial hump. That loss last year to Florida was devastating. I hope Jackson Dart has a great career because, man, I can't remember a final SEC game that is tougher than that one. You lose as roughly a touchdown favorite on the road in a game that if you win, you're 100% into the playoff. All of these things stacked one after the other. I can run through every team right now with the possible exception of Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, probably Vanderbilt. I know Diego Pavia, but I don't think either of those teams has a remote chance to be able to contend at a high level. Sorry, Vandy fans and Bulldog fans. But I think you could make an argument for about 14 different teams if Oklahoma can keep their quarterback out of Venmo transactions. We can run through basically, Arkansas is not going to be very good either, sorry. But basically, we can run through about 12, 13 teams in the SEC and say, if I squint the right way, there are the bones there to build a double-digit win season if everything comes together. Maybe not Auburn, sorry. But anyway, the totals are telling us this is one of the most wide-open SEC seasons we've ever seen. I can't wait to go watch Alabama and Ty Simpson play in person against FSU. Talking about a big swing game, and I'll talk about this later in the week. Mike Norvell, after last year, if they pull off the upset over Alabama, then all of a sudden everybody's changing their narrative on Mike Norvell. Flip side, if Kalen DeBoer were to lose on Saturday to FSU, if that Bama team comes out and loses after losing on the road at Oklahoma and Vanderbilt and Tennessee last year, the long knives, proverbially speaking, are going to be out for Kalen DeBoer. Alabama fans are going to be burning him in effigy. I would not want to be Kalen DeBoer's mailbox if they lose to FSU. A lot of angles out there that I think are going to be super interesting to follow. 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups. We talked about this. I love challenges. We've got a video here. My 14-year-old last night, I decided, hey, I'm going to try to do 100 push-ups. I'm going to try to do 50 pull-ups. And my strategy was I was very confident on push-ups. I can basically rep out nearly 50 push-ups really good right now. If I drop down in front of you, we had a camera, I'm very good at push-ups. And you would watch him and you'd be like, man, Clay's better at push-ups than I thought for a fat dad. But I was really nervous about the pull-ups. So my strategy was I'm going to do 10 push-ups and then 5 pull-ups, sets of 10. And I'm going to even start on the pull-ups one at a time because I don't want to burn myself out by trying to do like everything all at once. And I am sore on my back today. I just felt it when I did the pull-up move. It didn't go well, but here was my attempt. Spoiler alert, 11:24, I believe, was how long it took me to do 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups. And here is that attempt. All right, headed to go do the 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups challenge. Nash, how do you think I'll do?
I think you'll do great.
What did you say the first time?
I think I'll complete it in an hour.
An hour. All right, over under an hour. What do you think, Link?
I'm going to have to take the under.
All right, here we go. All right, pregame analysis, 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups. I feel really good about the 100 push-ups. Some of you may remember on Lock It In back in the day, I narrowly lost even though I actually won 50-plus push-ups. So I feel really good about that. My strategy here, I'm going to go 10 push-ups, 5 pull-ups for 10 total sets, trying to get in under 10 minutes. Some of these guys did, like Senator Mark Wayne Mullen did 3:30. Some guys have been under 5 minutes. That's crazy. I would be happy under 10. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. Many men.
Done to 150 and 25. But what was the final? 11
minutes, 24.
11:24. I was hoping for under 10. That seems like a pretty good number for an old fat dad.
There you have it. The pull-ups crushed me. And I used to do CrossFit, and I was way better at pull-ups. It's been a couple of years since I've done a pull-up, and I am going to get a pull-up bar in the new house that we are building. Lots of people do push-ups. I usually do push-ups, squats, and push-up, squats, and what else do I do? Sit-ups, tons of them. And I like to do 100 sets of 10. Takes about 12 minutes. Good workout. You can do it anywhere. You don't even need any additional aspects other than your body weight. Works really well. I enjoy doing it. It's easy to do if you travel and you're just in a hotel room. It's easy to do anywhere. It doesn't require very much space. Doesn't require very much material. Most people don't have a pull-up bar. And I don't trust those pull-up bars that people put on doorways because I always presume that at some point you're just going to yank that thing off. I don't trust that they're going to stay there. And so in my new house, we will have a legit pull-up bar, and I promise you that I will get better because right now that challenge is basically a pull-up contest. I would rather have done 300 push-ups than 50 pull-ups. So anyway, that is out there. I want to give credit. MSNBC, Joe Scarborough. I think he has been humiliated by the fact that he endorsed Joe Biden 2024 as the best version of Biden. And as a result, he's suddenly asking actual questions on their show, Morning Joe. Here was the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. He was being asked a simple question. Would 5,000 more police officers help you could create more safety in Chicago? And watch as the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, will not answer that very basic question for which the answer is truly yes. Watch.
Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
This is where I give Trump immense credit. All he is saying is we have way too many murders and way too much violent crime in America. Maybe we should make that happen at a lower rate. And Democrats have actually lined up and said, well, if we are, this is what the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, said. They actually said, Karen Bass did, hey, if we have too many police officers arresting people, we're going to arrest too many black and brown people. Well, it's not black and brown people. It's black and brown criminals. And actually, it's just criminals. And overwhelmingly, if you want to focus on race, do you know who the victims of violent crime are? Black and Hispanic people. In fact, 94% of the people shot in Washington, D.C. are black. Maybe, just possibly, the entire country should worry less about what the race is of violent criminals and more about protecting innocent people, white, black, Asian, and Hispanic, all over the country. But if you do want to focus on race, why not focus on the innocent, law-abiding victims of black and brown criminals and think about the number of black and brown lives you are saving instead of worrying about being too mean to criminals and using race as an excuse to hide behind? Just an idea that I think makes a lot of sense. All right, one more thing before we go here. You can go hop in the comments, go leave questions. I'll get back to those coming forward. But I wanted to tell all of you, we are now streaming on this show. We are streaming on Fox 1. So in addition to all of the other places that you can find this program, we are on YouTube. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitter, X. We are on basically every platform under the sun. You can get this show on Fox 1, which just launched last Thursday. Fox 1 allows you to stream your favorite live sports, NFL, college football, NASCAR, MLB postseason, and more. NFL season right around the corner, and you can watch the big games on Fox, including the big game that's going to be going on this weekend, the biggest game of college football, Ohio State and Texas, that will be preceded on Fox by Big Noon, of which I will be a participant going forward from big SEC games. So I'll be on Fox News, as always. I'll be on this show, and I'll be on Fox Sports shows all throughout the fall, and you can catch them all on Fox 1. You can watch the Fox 1 app and download it on your favorite device or smart TV today. Fox 1, we live for live, streaming now, including this amazing program. Love you guys. See ya tomorrow.